Hello, friends. I'm going to talk to you today about cacao. This is a cacao fruit. This is where chocolate comes from. Um, but I want to talk about cacao in maybe a little different sense than you're used to experiencing chocolate, as in like a Hershey's bar or a Snickers bar. Cacao is can be used as a plant ally for medicinal uses. And this is what an opened cacao fruit looks like. So these are rather big cacaos. Typically, you know that the fruit is ripe when it starts to turn this yellow color in this particular species of cacao. And once you harvest the fruit, what you then do is you take these seeds. These are the seeds, and there's like this film around them that's actually quite sweet. So if you suck on this, kind of like nature's candy. But that's not actually the part that you make the chocolate from. The part that the chocolate comes from is the seed or the cacao seed or bean seed that's inside here. And it kind of resembles an almond on the inside. It's similar to the color of like a kidney bean. But in the process, then you would dry these seeds out. They would go through a fermentation process as well. Then they would be roasted to a certain temperature in order to not lose any of the medicinal benefits of the cacao. And then from there, the cacao is removed of the husk that is on the seed, and then it can be ground up into a cacao paste or into a cacao butter and then ready for use. Now, all of these processes have to take place in a certain way in order to ensure the medicinal properties are withheld in your cacao. I'm not heating past a certain point, not adding in a bunch of other things in order to maintain all of those benefits. So now let's talk about the benefits a little bit. So cacao is most notably known as a heart opener. It helps us to release the rigidity and the walls that we build around our own heart in and aims to keep us safe from the world around us, the harsh world around us. So we start to put up these walls, we start to create barriers between us and our truth, our heart, our heart-led intentions and mission. And so over time, this makes us more callous and we get very disconnected. Well, the chemical component that helps us with this is called anandamine, and you might recognize that name from your yoga practice, Ananda Balasana or happy baby, blissful baby. Anandamine is the bliss molecule, and how the bliss molecule works in your body is that it helps you to come back to that sweet softness that is your true essence. It starts to melt the rigidity and the walls that you thought were a fortress that became your cage, keeping you from your true expression, from your true superpower, love, and from being able to access those gifts. So this is particularly one of the reasons why I love cacao and that I love to share cacao. I also want to make note that as a white woman sharing cacao, I do this with a lot of respect and reverence to the keepers of this tradition, the indigenous men and women of Central and South America who so graciously and openly allowed us to utilize their medicine. Um, and I don't want to be or to make any sort of missteps that this is somehow belonging to me or my lineage, because it isn't. And I give deep respect in that way and to these traditions. And I ask you to do the same if you choose to practice and work with Mama Cacao, the spirit of cacao and the plant. Um, the name cacao itself translates to food of the gods, and it's also its scientific name, theobromine. And theobromine is one of the other components of cacao that makes it very unique. Theobromine is a grounded stimulant. So, from the scientific lens, how this works in our body is similar to caffeine, but without any of the side effects and the jitters. So, it is a grounded stimulant, meaning it will give you focus, it will give you energy for a prolonged duration of time without the drop off, without the headache, without the tummy ache, without those those side effects. And so it can also act as a really nice replacement or way to move away from coffee or having a lot of caffeine if you're starting to notice detriments in your life may be attributed to those practices. Um, there's a lot of history around cacao as far as the storytelling goes as well. The story that I'm most familiar with is from the Bribri story of the indigenous people here in Costa Rica and High Talamanca. I don't feel it's my place to share this story, but I will say that this is a story that nods to seeing the person for their heart and not for their exterior um, presentation, and in allowing yourself to surrender to that sweet softness that resides inside of all of us, and how cacao can really help us, can be an ally to journey back to that place. Because let's be honest, life requires us to armor up sometimes. And so cacao can be a nice way back to the safe, sweet softness that is who you really are. So that's just a bit about cacao. It's a beautiful plant, it grows on trees. It usually takes about 6 months for one of these fruits to mature completely from beginning to end. So there's only, usually two harvests of a tree per year. So it's it's a very, very special plant, food of the gods. I mean, the name says it all. So I want to invite you. I will be hosting some cacao ceremonies in the Minnesota area in Stillwater coming up towards the middle end of March. I do have limited space, but you will get to experience cacao sourced here from Costa Rica. You'll get to experience some of the storytelling that I mentioned from the Bribri tradition. You'll get to experience some breath work and some gentle movement that helps the cacao take um, take effect in your body, and time and space to integrate and to process and to just simply experience and observe. Know that there's nothing that you need to do. There's no expectation. um, this is more or less a process of opening up yourself to meet your true self, and it's a very beautiful practice. So I'm going to go ahead and put some more information, or a link down below or above, wherever it happens to be. I'm not a tech expert, but I really hope you can join me. This has made a huge impact on my life and my journey and my healing, and my coming home process, and I'd love to share that with you as well.